Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Fuller RIP. If you clicked on this video, you already know what this game is, and you already know I'm about to talk about the second beta that literally closed up 45 minutes ago. So, disclaimer before I even start with my review, I will not be discussing any sort of geopolitics here, but if you're interested in why that relates to Fatal Fury, just look up who owns SNK and peek around a little bit and you'll find what I'm talking about. If that turns you off of the game, I respect that, and if it doesn't, I also respect that. It's a complete person-by-person decision. Alright, let's do it. So first off, I have some things that I really liked about this game. Number one, which is kind of the most obvious, is the way the game looks. The cell shading is a super good choice for them. I feel like it's almost out of a comic, which I love, obviously. I have a big background of reading comics. And a lot of the super animations specifically look amazing, and I love the amount of detail they put into them. However, I'm not a huge fan of cinematic supers, but these were either really short or were just kind of on screen for a couple seconds and were off. However, the rev gauge supers were maybe a little bit much. Kind of have a weird compliment to give SNK with this. At least with all 8 of these characters that we were able to play, fighting against each character felt super unique. I didn't feel like I was getting hit by the same thing a lot. For example, I fought a couple Preachas and a couple Rocks. I had to fight them completely different. I had to block against Preacha different than I blocked against Rock Howard, which is honestly really impressive because I feel like a lot of fighting games nowadays don't really have that individuality of being on the other end of playing. And something that really helped me experience each character was the online has gotten so much better. It's not on par with SF6 yet, but I feel like this next month that they have until the game comes out, if they kind of mull some things over, I would be saying it would have a solid launch. And finally, for the things that I enjoyed about this beta, I feel like Terry, specifically, who's what I played the most, has crazy combo potential. I can't really speak for a lot of the other characters because I played some Bijane and I thought she was not really my character, and I don't really like grapplers, but I gave Tizak a shot. I'll be talking about him later, don't worry. But Terry specifically felt like he had crazy combo potential, and I actually don't mind that he doesn't have Rising Tackle, which I thought I was going to hate, but they put it kind of on a different input, and it worked really well for me. So that's kind of all I have for things that I like specifically, and that might appeal to you and would be helpful for you to know. But I already mentioned something I didn't like. That's Tizak. This character was so stupid. He has that weird air command grab reset that was dumb as hell and reset damage. But I think that was a bug, so I hope they fix him. And also, it was kind of I was getting knowledge checked by his dash command grab all the time, but that's kind of a me problem. But he's very hard to fight. And I already touched on how the online has gotten better, but one thing that has not gotten better that's kind of online related is the menus. When you're just going between online settings and practice, and you click on one of the squares, and you can select ranked and stuff. When you're doing that whole situation, it is laggy as hell. It's literally a snail's pace just walking around a freaking menu system. I booted up a different game after I finished playing Fatal Fury, and I was used to the lag, but I was oh, this game doesn't have menu lag, so it was just not great. It was not fun to do. It was not fun to deal with. However, in the ranked settings and in the practice settings, it was oddly not laggy. It was just in that first menu for me, which was really strange. I don't know what happens there. I don't know what happened. Something in the same domain is the input reader was kind of messy, honestly. With Tizak, you have a half circle, and you can get the quarter circle forward motion too out of it. So the input reader just felt a little bit strange. I had similar problems with Terry's quarter circle forward, charge and DP. It wasn't a crazy issue, and the Terry problem might just be me getting used to hitbox though, but it was just something I noticed. The next thing is definitely a me problem, and that's the air drive impact and air just defend caught me completely off guard this entire beta. I'm aware that that's kind of a skill issue. I've never played a Garyu before, the old one, so I wasn't used to it at all. I feel like it is a cool mechanic, but if you're getting into fighting games and haven't played an SNK game before, it'll be kind of jarring when you're going to DP somebody in the air and you DP them and then they just defend you twice. It's it catches you off guard. I'm not a fan of the Ronaldo inclusion, to be honest. I think it's super corny. And most of that's because he kind of breaks the aesthetic of the game for me. The game is about these people who have trained in different martial arts and stuff, and then they're going to fight each other. What the hell does Ronaldo have with that? I never thought of Ronaldo as somebody who would like beat my ass in a fight, you know what I mean? So it just kind of catches me off guard. Like seeing Ronaldo punch Terry is just gonna just look weird, and I'm sure he'll be super popular. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but again, I've talked to people who are huge fans of it and people who don't like it at all, who hate it more than I do. I don't hate it, but you know what I'm trying to say. So overall, would I recommend you buying this game? Well, I've split this into two different categories. I got if you've played fighting games before and if this is your first fighting game. First of all, if you have played fighting games for a bit, like you're not crazy into it, but you've played some, like you've played Street Fighter 6 for like, I don't know, like let's say 20 to 50 hours, I think you should probably check this one out. I know $60 is a big ask, but it's probably worth your time just because of how much mechanical depth there is, and it gets super fun when you play it for like 5 hours. Once you understand what's going on in the game, it gets super fun. That brings me to my second group. If you play every fighting game, or if you've played fighting games for a long time like Street Fighter SNK, you're already gonna buy this. I don't really have to talk about you. You're already gonna get this game, and I think you should. Finally, if this is your first fighting game that you're ever going to pick up, I can't say I recommend it, and here's why specifically. A lot of the mechanics in this game really do require a solid amount of game knowledge and fundamentals knowledge, and the feint system is not super easy to understand at first, and I could see it being a roadblock for people. You know, you got the entire accessibility in fighting games argument going on right now on Twitter. This game is kind of going against that, I would say. There is some accessibility stuff, like they have a modern controls, but again, not a huge fan of modern controls for new players in the first place, but that's a different argument. So if this is your first fighting game, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend going and picking up Street Fighter or Tekken over Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. However, it's not impossible. I have faith you could figure it out, but I would not recommend it as a first fighting game. So yeah, it's been Fuller, RIP Fuller. The message is, remember the geopolitics stuff I talked about at the beginning of the video. I think you should look it up because it's just kind of interesting information to know, because it's nice to know where your money may or may not go just in general. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.